I think that, if I never was, I obviously played that game in Connecticut, and that's where I kind of felt some more.
The WNBA just blinked first, and the timing couldn't be worse because Caitlin Clark's future may have been exposed before anyone was ready to admit it. What looks like just another offseason delay is actually the most volatile power shift the WNBA has faced in years. And Caitlin Clark is sitting right at the center of it, whether the league wants to say her name out loud or not. This is not about routine negotiations or boring paperwork. This is about money, leverage, control, and a league scrambling to keep its biggest moment from turning into its biggest mess. At the heart of the storm is the collective bargaining agreement, and this time the players are not whispering requests. They are demanding a seat at the adult table. Revenue sharing, real salary growth, and structural power changes are on the line. The old framework quietly expired, and instead of a clean renewal, what followed was radio silence. That silence is what cracked everything open. Free agency was supposed to be the calm before the season. Instead, it is now trapped in limbo. Without a signed CBA, nothing moves. No contracts, no roster reshaping, no certainty. Teams are frozen while the clock keeps ticking, and every day that passes squeezes the calendar tighter. The league tried to hold its posture, but the math does not lie. If free agency slides, everything else collapses forward like dominoes. Training camp cannot magically compress itself. Draft preparation cannot be rushed without consequences. Expansion planning does not happen overnight. And yet, all of it is being forced into a shrinking window that feels less like professional planning and more like damage control.
There was no decision of this is the end of my season. I had full intention of returning, and I think in a way that was probably positive for me because
this is where Caitlin Clark stops being just a rookie and starts becoming a pressure point. Clark is not just another incoming player. She is the single biggest commercial accelerant the league has seen in decades. Ticket demand, broadcast interest, merchandise, social engagement, and mainstream visibility all spike when her name is attached. The league knows this, the teams know this, the networks absolutely know this. That is why any delay that risks muddying her debut feels borderline reckless. And here's where things are getting uncomfortable because you are hesitating to smash that subscribe button and hit like.
I was going to play, I was going to get back out on the court, and it probably would have been even more devastating and crushing knowing that I was never going to be able to put my uniform back on for the rest of the season. But, you just approach it.
Anyways, public messaging stays cautious. His scheduling patterns are telling a completely different story. Certain teams are being loaded with nationally attractive windows, dense early season slates, and travel-heavy exposure that only makes sense if the league expects eyes on them immediately. This is not random. It is strategic positioning. One franchise in particular stands out: Indiana. The Fever are being handled like a product the league expects to sell aggressively from day one. Tight turnarounds, high visibility matchups, minimal easing in period. That is not how rebuilding teams are usually treated. That is how teams carrying a centerpiece are treated. The league cannot announce destinations yet. It does not have to. The calendar is doing the talking. Meanwhile, front offices across the league are quietly panicking. Because if free agency starts late, they lose leverage. The players gain it. Roster mistakes become irreversible, and expansion teams already under pressure may be forced to gamble instead of build. This is where the CBA demands become explosive.
Yeah, honestly, I've been working really hard to get back to full health, and I feel like probably over these last couple of weeks is when I've probably started feeling my best. Obviously, my ankle
The players' push for a significantly higher revenue share is not symbolic. It is a declaration that the league's growth phase is no longer hypothetical. Money is coming in, and the talent wants acknowledgement in actual numbers, not marketing slogans. Salary structures, caps, and contract ceilings are all being challenged at once, and that makes ownership nervous for one simple reason. Once you give it, you cannot take it back. The league's delay in responding publicly has only intensified speculation. Every non-answer fuels the idea that negotiations are far more tense than anyone wants to admit. And when tension meets deadlines, something always breaks. The biggest fear is not a full shutdown. It is a rushed agreement.
But I just went to kind of make a move, and unfortunately my ankle completely rolled all the way forward, and probably one of the worst sprains I've dealt with. But
a rushed agreement creates a rushed season. A rushed season creates sloppy basketball. Sloppy basketball creates injuries, chemistry issues, and fan frustration. And all of that would land right as Caitlin Clark is supposed to be introduced to the professional game. That is the nightmare scenario, because Clark does not benefit from chaos. She benefits from structure, rhythm, and stability. Throwing her into a compressed preseason with limited practice time and unsettled rosters would not just be unfair. It would be irresponsible, yet the league is flirting with that reality because it underestimated how much leverage the players now hold. Another layer quietly complicating everything is expansion. New teams need time to evaluate protected lists, build identities, and avoid becoming afterthoughts. Compressing expansion decisions into the same window as free agency and draft prep is not just messy. It is borderline unmanageable, and still the league keeps insisting everything will be fine. Behind the scenes, that confidence is thinning. Coaching staffs are already sketching contingency plans. Medical teams are bracing for shortened ramps. Marketing departments are stuck promoting a season that might not start on time. And agents are warning clients to stay flexible because nothing feels locked in. Through all of this, Caitlin Clark remains silent publicly, but the implications are loud. Wherever she lands instantly becomes a gravitational center. Schedules shift around her. Broadcast priorities rearrange. Opponents circle dates. That level of influence usually belongs to veterans, not rookies. But Clark is not entering the league like a normal rookie. She is entering like an event. The Fever's positioning looks less like coincidence and more like preparation. They have the market, they have the appetite, they have the visibility. And now they appear to have the schedule of a team expected to matter immediately. That is not a rebuild profile. That is a spotlight profile. If the season does get delayed, the irony is brutal. The league risks dulling its biggest weapon just as public interest peaks. Fans are ready now. Media attention is here now. Momentum does not wait politely. And that is the real gamble, because while everyone insists a deal will get done, the path to that deal is narrowing. Every concession costs something, every delay amplifies pressure, and every leaked detail shifts public perception. This offseason was supposed to be about excitement. Instead, it has become about survival math. For Caitlin Clark, the destination may already be quietly decided, but the timing remains dangerously unstable. Her arrival feels inevitable. The environment around it does not. And if the league is already bending the calendar, what else is being reshaped behind the scenes? And are we about to witness the most chaotic superstar debut the WNBA has ever seen? So, let us know your views in the comments below.